Let us start with an interesting topic of vulnerability assessment. In this lecture, you will learn what is a vulnerability assessment and how penetration testings are performed. You will also learn how do security experts secure a web application. Then, you will see what is the combined form of a VAPT, that is, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Then, we'll also see different types of security testing. So, let us get started. What is meant by vulnerability assessment? Vulnerability assessments, often known as VAs, refer to the process of identifying the risks and vulnerabilities in computer networks, systems, hardware, applications, and other parts of the IT ecosystem. VAs provide security teams and other stakeholders with the information they need to analyze and prioritize tasks for potential remediation in proper context. Vulnerability assessments are a critical component of the vulnerability management and IT risk management life cycles. They help to protect systems and data from unauthorized access and data breaches. Now, the obvious question is, why VAs are important? Vulnerability assessments allow security teams to apply a consistent, comprehensive, and clear approach to identifying and resolving security threats and risks. This has several benefits to an organization. VAs help early and consistent identification of threats and weaknesses in IT security. Then, in this process, operating systems, application software, and networks are scanned in order to identify the occurrence of vulnerabilities, which include appropriate software design, insecure authentication, etc. So you can consider this a simple scenario. VAs are nothing but a regular tests you have in your school days, right? Teachers used to test you so that if they find anything wrong or if any concepts are missing, they could fix it. In the same way, vulnerability assessments work. Now, how do security experts secure a web application? Most vulnerability assessments assign a risk to each threat. These risks can have a priority, urgency, and impact assigned to them, which makes it easier to focus on those that could create the most issues for an organization. This is an important part of VAPT, as your IT security team will have limited time and resources and must concentrate on the areas that could cause the most damage to your business. Vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, commonly known as VAPT, is a process of first identifying the vulnerabilities and then performing testing to see whether these vulnerabilities really exist. So, the next question is, how do security experts secure web applications? What is the exact process? Well, first, they draft the documentation, a legal documentation like Memorandum of Understanding, Non-Disclosure Agreement, Financial Agreement, etc. Then they define the scope of the assessment, like which factors they need to consider, what is the network policy they should contain, which computers or which websites need to be scanned, etc. Next is the information assessment, which means information gathering. They gather information about the target website, and they help others to get information and maximum access to the computer system. Next is vulnerability assessment, that is VA. In this, using automated tools such as Nessus, Acunetics, OAuth Zap, and many more, security experts find out vulnerabilities present in the systems. Next step is penetration testing. Now, since security experts use automated tools to find out vulnerabilities, automated tools may give some false positives. Therefore, penetration testers perform regular tests on the systems to check whether a vulnerability is present or not. And the steps 4 to 5 together is known as a VAPT. The sixth step is gaining access, which means once the penetration test is successful, whether the penetration tester is able to gain the access to the system. Now, this may define as if a penetration tester is able to get access to the system, hackers can also get access. So, this is an important step. Next is privilege escalation, which means gaining the admin rights. The attacker can hack the system using a normal user right, but if an attacker is able to get the admin privileges, which means there is a privilege escalation vulnerability present in the system. Eighth step is important, report generation. Now, once the VAPT is performed, a report has to be drafted so that the upper management level of a company should understand what is exactly being happened in the company, what kind of tests are being performed, who is performing the tests, how the tests are being performed. All these questions are being answered in the reports. Basically, there are two types of reports, upper management level report and developer report. In the developer report, the penetration tester produces or provides all the necessary code in which the vulnerability was founded, how the attacker exploited the code, which functions or which scripts he used to exploit those codes, and also provides different types of examples and references to that. In the upper management level report, the penetration tester provides the business impact, then how the vulnerability can affect their business, how an attacker can get into the system, but in simple words. The second last step is the patch assistance, in which the VAPT or a penetration tester is supposed to provide codes to patch the vulnerability. And the last step is revalidation, in which the attacker has to provide validation of whether the patches have been assisted properly or not. Now, what are the types of security testing? There are basically three types of security testing: black box, gray box, and white box. I will first explain the black box. In black box security testing, the person who is going to test the system has no prior knowledge about the system. He is being given no credentials, like no access to the admin page, nothing. So, in black box VAPT, the attacker has no prior knowledge of the system and therefore has to use the available tools on the internet to gather as much as information as he can. In white box penetration system, the penetration tester is given the full credentials of the system. He has a prior information, and therefore it becomes easier for white box penetration tester to quickly assess the system. Now, you must have understood what gray box means. Yes, in gray box, a partial knowledge of the system is given. Therefore, in gray box, the attacker can have a minimal information but not the complete information. So, according to you, what do you think, which type of security testing is most beneficial? The common answer is white box penetration testing, but actually it is not. When the attacker or when a hacker hacks the system, he has no prior knowledge of the system, and therefore he acts like a black box penetration tester. Therefore, if an attacker can hack, or if a black box penetration tester can hack your system, it clearly means that an attacker can too hack the system. Now, let us have a quick recap. In this lecture, we saw what is VAPT. We discussed how security exports secure web applications. Then we discussed the importance of VAPT and also concluded the lecture with different types of security testing. In the next lecture, we will see the phases of vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. We will see which common tools are used by security experts to perform VAPT and why they prefer automating penetration testing over manual one. And finally, we will end our lecture with key pieces of information a security expert usually gathers through VAPTs.